Hey, what's up? Hyper Theory here on YouTube explaining why these dated cliches for attracting a guy are sad and they just don't work. They do not work. Okay? So with no further ado, let's get started.
So for today's video, as you guys can see by the title, I wanted to talk about some different things you can do in order to get a guy's attention.
Alright, first of all, why is this dude smiling so much? Alright, he's gonna say some things that are just flat out insane.
In any situation. I broke it down into 3 because if you are past the first point and you're already at the 3rd point, or you're in the first point and you've never been to the 3rd point before, there's so many different things that I want to tell you guys, and things that I think would be valuable for you guys to know that guys notice when they're talking to you. So I only came up with 3, so the video's not too crazy, but if you guys like it, give it a thumbs up. If you're new to my channel, subscribe. And with that being said, here is the first way to get a guy's attention in any situation. So the first situation that I came up with is you've never met that other person before and you walk in somewhere and you see them and you want to get their attention. The first thing that comes to my mind is smiling and eye contact. I think that those things are definitely the top 2 when you don't...
Okay, first of all, smiling and eye contact can mean anything. Okay, I can see if she's smiling and she's making eye contact and she's waving at me. You know what I mean? It's a little straightforward. It's a little bit obvious. But, what do you want? Do you want this guy's attention, or do you want the guy? This video is for people who actually want the guy, and not just want his attention, if that makes any sense.
Know somebody and you're wanting them to notice you, I think that once you make eye contact with them, it almost got a little bit more intimate in that moment, because now you realize each other, and then whether or not you decide to stare at them or look away or whatever, you can do whatever you want. But that's a...
Yeah, you have officially gotten this guy's attention. Now you can look away. That's another 90s cliche that doesn't make any fucking sense, because if you want a guy's attention and you want him to know that you like him, if you look away from him, as soon as he looks up, you're just gonna look like some girl who's not interested, because you're just some girl who's walking by, doesn't even seem to notice him, right? So, that's kind of why this is horrible advice.
Way that I think is really good to get a guy's attention is look at them and make sure that they actually make eye contact with you, so that they realize and notice that you're there. So now that you've made eye contact with them, I think that the next thing you can do is just be relaxed. Be in a situation where if that guy...
Yeah, the next thing you can do is totally nothing that has to do with the last thing that he just said. I'm being sarcastic, of course. Don't listen to this guy. This guy's fucking retarded.
Was to get up or walk around or come over to you or want to come and talk to you, you almost give them the opportunity to do that when you look like you're just hanging out. If you're in the middle of something that's super important and you can't be relaxed, then that's something different. But if you're in a situation where you're just kind of hanging out, then I think that shows them if they did want to get up and go and walk over and talk to you, that they could. I think that another good tactic in getting a guy to actually walk over and talk to you is to make it look like you're bored. If you're hanging out with a group of friends and they're all talking and you're kind of
boredom is not attractive. Boredom is not attractive. That's another cliche from the 90s. Oh, the girl, she's so pretty and she's always bored. All this stuff is going on. She's always bored. No. You are an interesting person, so act like it. Maybe you're a little bit weird. Use that to your advantage. But most importantly, if you want the guy, don't just go after his attention.
Off to the side. I think what happens to guys is they kind of think oh, that girl's not part of the conversation, so this would be a good time to walk over and talk to them. I think that's kind of how we think.
That is not how we think. If we're going to approach a group of females, we're probably already ready to ask all of you out, or we have a respectful way of singling out the one girl, oh yeah, hey, excuse me guys, but I saw you. You see what I just did there? I singled out that particular girl. Or Yeah.
That's the first way that I came up with in order to like get a guy's attention and actually start having a conversation with him if you want to. So moving on to the second scenario, which is you see the guy every once in a while. Like that maybe you walk into a coffee shop and he's there every once in a while and you kind of like him and you want him to notice that you like him. One thing that I think you can do is try to do something that...
Don't listen to what he's about to say. What you could do is, instead of listening to this guy, because he's going to basically tell you to just sit there and wait for him to come talk to you, is actually go up and talk to this guy and say, hey, my name is so and so and so. I've seen you around here a few times, and I want to know if you'd like to go out sometime. Very simple, very straightforward, but now the guy knows that you're interested in him and you want to go out. Now it's just his job to either say yes or no, or, invite you to have a seat with him or learn your name. Now he's interested in you because now, and he might not have been looking at you the whole time. He might have had his eyes all over the place looking at different things. But that doesn't mean you can't get his attraction. Like, sure, you can get his attention. Sure, you can walk up and talk to him. But what are you saying? Like, what is the idea that you're conveying?
Like unique, something that they're gonna remember every time they see you. Maybe it's like a perfume you're wearing, or maybe it's a sweater you're wearing, or maybe it's something that you order that's like really different, that's cool, that like they've never heard before. I think that when you give that person something to like remember from that day or from that time that you see them, I think that's a really important part of like...
I got something you can give that person that they can remember from the time that they saw you. Your freaking telephone number. How about your name? How about a greeting? These are all things that you can give this person.
Somebody's attention, and like when maybe you see them at that coffee shop again, you guys have something to talk about, and that kind of leads into the next thing, which is like be approachable. Be that person that like if they want to come up and talk to you or like say something or say hello, like they have the opportunity to do that. One really good way...
No, don't be that person. Be that person that doesn't have to rely on being approachable just to attract the right guy. And you're not going to attract the right guy. You're not going to attract the guy that you want using these methods, because they aren't made for attraction. They're just made to tease you and the guy, really.
In order to get a conversation started is to ask them for help. Whether it's like maybe you're doing something with homework, or you're like walking into the coffee shop and you don't know what to order that day. One good way to figure that out is to just ask that person and see like what they're ordering. That just shows that like you're approachable and you're somebody that...
No, you don't just ask someone what they order. I mean, you could, but it's not the right you're not establishing the right the right social setup or setting to continue a conversation. It's just gonna feel awkward. So what you want to do is you want to be polite. You want to say, hey, excuse me. You know what I mean? I'm just tell him that you're confused on what to get, and he'll get the idea. What are you getting? It's good that you have questions, of course. Don't just let him take over the whole thing, because that's so boring. Now he's got to think, speak, and act for this other person. You might as well be a puppet or like a blow-up doll or something. It's like
they can walk up to and talk to. If you can do those things and you see that guy every once in a while, try to be in those same places that you know they're going to be, and then have little conversations with them. Alright, the last scenario is you're talking to this person all the time, you know them really well, but for some reason it doesn't feel like they actually understand that you like them. One really good way in order to kind of get that message across is like following up with them or like keeping in touch with them after you have conversation. This really shows that like you're caring about the things that you guys talked about, and you're caring about that person by texting them out of nowhere, and maybe they weren't thinking of you, but now because they see you on their phone, it kind of shows that, hey, like, why is this person texting me right now? And I talked to them earlier today and they're asking me this question about what we were talking about. I think that another thing that also goes on top of that too.
Yeah. If you like a guy, then you should talk to him. Don't just sit there and wait for him to give you all of this attention and all of this showing you that he's interested, because just because he's giving you all that doesn't mean he's not lying. It's best to just, build a relationship, build a rapport with this person so you can understand what type of person they are. Because you're not going to know this right off the bat. And they're not going to tell you everything right off the bat about them.
When girls are mysterious, I think that when you're talking to this guy all the time, if there's things that he doesn't know about you, those are definitely things that are going to keep him asking questions and hanging out and wanting to find out more about you. So I would say follow up with them, keep in touch with them, be mysterious.
You don't have to be mysterious at all. You can be totally 100% upfront, and the guy will respect you for that. Even if he finds that, okay, a lot of these things make him not attractive to you, he's probably gonna come out and say straight up, this stuff makes me unattractive to you. But that's not very likely. It's not likely that he's gonna actually do that, because now he's met this amazing girl with social skills who has a personality, has things to talk about. He doesn't have to text her every time he wants to talk to her. She talks to him on her own. Yeah, these I don't know what advice girls are giving each other, but it's obviously not this. So
I think that taking it slow is also a good idea, because then you get to figure out what kind of person they are or what they're into and all of that. But ultimately, you want that other person to know that you are single. So if there are different ways that you can kind of get into conversation about you don't have a boyfriend, or you like doing this and you wish you had somebody to do it with, these are different conversations that you can have that are really sneaky, that let them know that you're single. And then eventually when they start asking you questions about what kind of person you would go out with, and then you guys notice that
you don't have to do any of this. All you have to do is just be polite. Think of it as, how would you want someone to approach you? You know what I mean? And you just incorporate some of the manners you learned from when you were a kid. It's very simple. Anybody can do it. It's just, hey, excuse me, or excuse me, hey, my name is so-and-so, so-and-so. You look, say something about their looks, and then ask them if they want to go out. It's so easy. You don't have to beat yourself over the head trying to figure out what you're going to do, or be afraid of facing rejection, because it's going to happen. And if it doesn't happen, then you're blessed. You might want to, be a little bit more aware of your surroundings, but that's a blessing. But at the same time, with great power comes great responsibility.
You guys are supposed to be together, then maybe you guys will end up together. I don't know. Make sure that they know that you're available. And I think that if you...
Yeah, this video was way too crazy. And this guy obviously doesn't care if you actually attract the guy you want. He's just doing the same thing everyone else is doing. That's why these cliches are from the fucking 90s. That has to be it, right?